pass out your bell work. I'm going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes. Your bell work mainly today is for you to read it and to think about it, and then we're going to discuss it, okay? My material people today are A. I want you to read the problem, and then I want you to stop and think for just a second. Okay. How many of y'all read? And y'all saw that the problem said x plus y equals 3. And most of us in here know that we can come up with 2 numbers that would give us 3. And would anybody like to share 2 numbers that would equal 3? David?
2 and 1.
2 and 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Anybody else?
Negative 3 plus 6.
Look at you. Negative 3 plus 6 equals 3. Well, we're today going to work on 2 variable equations. If you look at the board, we're going to use tables to find solutions to a given linear equation, and we're going to plot the solutions on a coordinate plane. I'm going to use the bell ringer today to do a think aloud and to show you how to do this, and then we're going to do a couple of we-dos together and practice, and then before you leave, you're going to do an exit ticket. Before I get into the I do, I want to explain to you real quick that really and truly, when we look at this objective, we're going to mainly today focus on the table. I will model how to use the coordinate grid because we did talk about the coordinate grid last week, but my main focus today is for you to master how to do the table, okay? Just a little information. Last hour, one of the students said this is hard. By the end of the hour, she had it. It's not hard, okay? So we don't want to have that attitude in our head. It's a very simple process, and you already know how to do most of this because we've solved one step. We have solved one step their equations before. The difference is that this is 2 variables. I have 2 unknowns. What we did up until this point was what? How many variables did we have? We had 1 variable. And then last week, we kind of talked about proportions and did some problems with proportions. And we looked for, what did we do Friday? Constant what? Rate of change, okay? And so we kind of got into the coordinate grid a little bit there. So today, we're going to mainly focus on 2 variable equations. I picked a very simple one to show you because I want you to see the process more right now than doing hard numbers, okay? So we have x plus y equals 3, and I'm going to read my directions. It says find 5 solutions for the linear equation x plus y equals 3, and plot the solution as points on the coordinate grid. So if I look at my table, I have the x and the y. I know that they're going to come together and make a pair from my coordinate plane. So it's going to be like a pair of shoes. You have left shoe and a right shoe. You're going to have an X and a Y, and we're going to plot them on the coordinate grid. That's what I hope that we all have mastered by tomorrow. But today we're going to have what mastered? The top part. What are we going to have mastered by the end of the class today? The table. We're going to have the table. I need you all to wake up. It's not Christmas yet, okay? So here we go. So if I look at this and it says find 5 solutions for the linear equation x plus y equals 3, and then I'm going to plot the solutions as points on a coordinate plane. Well, I have the best strategy for getting to solving a 2 variable problem. The best strategy in the whole world. Y'all ready for it?
Yes.
Guess. That's my strategy, guess. So I'm going to put x and I'm going to guess the number 1. I can pick any number I want and I'm going to guess with number 1. And then I'm going to substitute. We substituted before, and I'm going to let 1 become my x, and 1 plus y equals 3. So now I no longer have a 2 variable equation. I have a 1 variable equation which we have solved up until this point. Am I correct? We've been doing that. So now I know that when I have a 1 variable equation, that in order to solve for what?
Y.
In order to solve for y, I need to do what?
So, yeah.
I need
around.
get it what?
Move it around.
I need to, why am I moving it around?
So you can get Y by itself.
Okay, so here I go with my think aloud. Now what are y'all going to do? Y'all going to close your mouth and you're gonna write, and if you have a question, write it on the side, and when I get through with my think aloud, you can ask your question. So I have 1 plus y equals 3. I'm gonna subtract 1 on both sides, and 1 minus 1 cancels. Y equals 3 minus 1 is 2, so the y becomes the 2. Then I'm gonna guess another number. For x, I'm gonna put 2. And so I'm gonna substitute 2 where the x is, and I'm gonna have 2 plus y equals 3, and I'm gonna subtract 2 on both sides, and I'm going to get y equals 1. I'm going to guess another number, and I'm gonna use 3. And I'm gonna put 3 plus y equals 3. I'm gonna subtract 3 on both sides, and I'm going to get y equals 0. Okay, and real quick, I'm gonna model how you're gonna do the coordinate grid. Did y'all like this? You liked it? You think you can be able to do it? Good. Okay, so now, real quick, I'm gonna do the coordinate grid. I'm just gonna review what we talked about on Friday. I have the coordinate grid. I know I have 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. I also know that in quadrant 1, I have a positive positive. In quadrant 2, I'm gonna have a negative positive. In quadrant 3, I'm gonna have negative negative, and in quadrant 4 would be positive negative. Okay? The reason why I want to know that is because when I look at my table, I want to know what quadrants I'm working with. Well, I can see here, my coordinates are going to be 1 and 2. Let me move it over. 1 and 2, and so that's going to be in quadrant 1. I know that 2 and 1 would be. And then when I get to 4, negative 1, I know a positive negative is going to be in quadrant 4, and I know that 5, negative 2 is going to be in quadrant 4. So that kind of gives me an idea of where, when I plot my points, where it's going to be. So when I make my coordinate grid, I'm going to mainly emphasize quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. So I'm going to draw my coordinate grid. I'm going to number my x-axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't need to go any more because the largest number I used was 5. And then for my y-axis, I'm going to go positive goes up, 1, 2, 3, 4. And down are my negatives, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. Then, when I look at my coordinates, I have 1 and 2. So I'm going to find my 1 on my x-axis. Here's my 2 on my y, and I'm going to bring them together, and I'm going to put a point. That represents my first my first pair. Okay? Then I have 2 and 1, so I'm going to find the 2 on the x, the 1 on the y, they're going to meet up, put a dot, my point. Okay? Then my next set of coordinates is 3 and 0. 3, I'm not going to go up or down because my y coordinate is 0. And then I have 4 and negative 1. I have 4. I'm going to go down negative 1. And then I have 5 and negative 2. Then if the A person would look in the little buckets, they're your rulers. We're going to use rulers to draw our lines because we want to make sure that we are precise in drawing it. Precision is very important for something like this, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. Does everybody have a ruler? Okay. You're going to take the ruler, and you're going to go through the dots. You want to make sure it's very precise. And then you want to put arrows on the end to show that it goes on and on and on. I can pick any number that I wanted for X, but I could look at this graph right here, and I could see that if I pick 6, that my solution for picking 6 for X would be negative 3 for Y. You see how the line went through there? And I didn't even do the math. I didn't plot it as far as a point, but my line goes through. And that's why I have the arrows on both ends to show that it's an infinite number that you can pick for the solution, X plus Y equals 3. just like Kayla said earlier. She said, I picked six. She said, I'm sorry, you picked -3. Am I correct? She went -3 plus 6 equals 3. So this just goes to show you that you have many numbers that you can pick. Okay, now that was kind of a simple one, x plus y. So I'm going to challenge your brains a little bit. And we're going to do another one together. And this time, I'm going to want you to help me do this one, okay? And then you're going to work with a partner and do one with a partner. Okay. Go to the side that says 2x minus y equals 10. Here we go. We have a two variable equation again, x and y. This one's a little different because my x is what? It has a what? Coefficient. It has a coefficient. Okay, so 2x minus y equals 10. The x and the y are going to be my constants, okay? So we're going to start off and we're going to guess my strategy. Y'all like that strategy? And we're going to guess the number for x. I like to make the number simple because I don't like to stress out right before Christmas, okay? Why stress out before Christmas? So we're going to pick a very simple number. So what would y'all pick?
10.
You want to pick what? Let's go something smaller. 2? Y'all want to go with 2? But we can pick 10. Maybe we'll work up to 10, okay? So let's go with 2. Okay? This is what I need for you to do. Everybody, in A, give everybody a board and a pen. I noticed in first hour, people were substituting wrong. I want to make sure everybody is doing that correctly. Just get a pen. This is going to just take a minute. I want you to write on your board, and I want to make sure that you're substituting correctly. So you're going to take that 2, and you're going to substitute it for, what are you going to do with that 2? It's going to take the place of x. Please, just take a pen. Look at your paper. You have 2x minus y. So where's this 2 going to go? But where the x is. So you need to put that in parentheses, okay? Because you're multiplying. There you go. Okay, good job. Now that we substituted and we all have this, we now have what kind of equation? What kind of equation?
One.
We have a one-step equation, something that we've been solving, for months. It seems like for months anyway, since Thanksgiving. Okay, so we want to get what by itself?
Y.
The y. So y'all do the first step, and I'm going to call on somebody, random. What was the first step that you did, Taryn?
2 times 2 is 4 minus x equals 10.
Not minus x, minus what?
I can see.
Okay, very good. So she said 2 times 2 is 4 minus y equals 10. I'm very interested in the next couple of steps on what you do. Okay? So, what are you going to do? What's your next step?
4, positive 4 on the left-hand side, and then go subtract it on the right-hand side.
So you're going to subtract 4 on both sides. Very good. So you're going to subtract 4 on both sides. And so now you have negative y equals 6. Negative y equals 6. I think you remembered something. You want to share with the class what?
You divide by a -1?
Why are we dividing by -1?
So, because you can't have a negative variable.
You cannot have a negative variable. And so why, who can remember why we divide by -1? Marcus, do you remember why we divide? Come on, Marcus, come on. Why do we divide by, I want somebody different. I got the same 2 girls. David, why are we divided by -1?
Yeah.
What does -1 give us?
Positive.
It gives us not necessarily
The
positive, it
opposite.
gives us the opposite. Okay, y'all need to wake up for me. Come on. +1. If I bet you if I pulled out the lifesavers and said whoever could tell me, every hand would have gone up. Huh? Okay, so we're going to divide by -1 on both sides. So that changes -y divided by -1 gives me y, and 6 divided by -1 gives me what?
6.
6. -6. A positive and a negative gives me what? When we divide, a negative. Okay, now, who wants to give me another number? We're gonna get to 10, but I wanna get some numbers in between 2 and 10. David, give me another number. 4, okay? So, let's plug it in. X minus 1, right? So you're substituting 2, so you're gonna put the 2 like that, okay? And the same thing here. You have 2x minus 1, okay? So you're gonna, go ahead and finish the table if you're finished while I'm helping a few people. So you're gonna put the 2 here, look. 2 times 2, Anthony, is what? 4, okay? So that's what you're doing. You don't recopy the x, okay? How did you do your table? Okay, do another number for me. Seth, if you wanna do your 10, you can do it. Go ahead. We're gonna put it on the chart in just a minute. Okay, let's kind of look at the board. I see, here we have the X. Everybody pick 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're going to plug in the 4 minus y equals 10. And when I did 2 times 4, group 2, D. Tatiana, what did you get when you went 2 times 4?
8.
You got 8. So you had 8 minus y equals 10. Subtract 8 on both sides. And when you subtracted 8 on both sides, group 2, C. Seth, when you, 10 minus 8 is what? 2. So you had negative y equals 2. And then I'm going to call on my friend tomorrow. Tell me what you did after that. Come on.
I added.
You didn't add. What did you do to get rid of that negative y?
Divided
By what?
1.
Not
Negative 1.
Negative 1. And a negative gives me a positive. And then I'm going to divide 2 by negative 1. And that's going to give me what, class?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Okay? And then I'm going to substitute 6. 2 times 6. Be careful. Okay. What's happening here? Somebody raise your hand if you see a pattern. What?
It's gonna be, that answer gonna be a positive 6.
Tell me what's happening. I want you to tell me what's happening to the x side.
It's okay.
What's happening to my x?
Has it increased by 2? Hold on.
As the x increases by 2, the y is doing what?
The same. No, by
It's increasing by what?
4.
By 4. Very good. Make sure you say it correctly. Let's say it together. As the x increases by
2, the
the-
y is increasing by 4.
very good. So I can just, do I need to do the math? No. I can go and say 2, this right here would be what?
6.
6, and this right here would be 10. Okay? So, when I'm making my coordinate grid, I'm looking, I have a positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, positive. What do I need to do? What quadrants am I going to be focusing it on?
3 and 4. The second and the fourth.
1 and 4. Very good, Marcus. 1 and 4. Okay, so when I draw, because my numbers are a little bit bigger, I'm going to count by 2s. I'm going to make sure my intervals are by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8. Okay, and negative 10. I'm sorry, I didn't know it wasn't showing. Okay, so my first point is going to be what? 2 and what?
2 and negative 6.
Okay, I would like somebody else to participate. Let's see, I'm just going to call a stick. And where's my next point? Deshauna. What's my next point on my grid? I'm doing on the table. I already did 2 and negative 6. What's my next point? According to the table. I did 2 and 6, negative 6. What's my next point? What's my next point?
No.
Marcus, help her out. 4 and negative 2. Okay. And I want you to work with your AB partner, CD partner, and you can use any number you want on doing the problem. Y'all work together. You're going to turn your paper over. You have another I do. 2x plus y equals 35. And I like, I see Brittany's already started. Go, Brittany. Okay, here we go. You tell me, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? You have 8. What did you do to cancel off that 8?
Oh, you got an A.
Wait, listen to what I'm saying. You have 8 plus y equals 35. What are you doing to cancel out this 8? What operation are you doing here? You're doing subtraction. So what you do to one side, you do to the other. So what operation are you doing? And you have calculators if you want to. Yeah, there's 45. Oh, okay. But you're supposed to be doing the same thing for your partner. Oh, you did too? Okay, you help your partner out a little bit here now, buddy, okay? So you're going to do 2 times what? Okay, use your calculator. What's 2 times 45? We need a couple of volunteers that has stuff on their paper. I'm going to put it on the document camera.
Yes. We got to find what y is.
You just did.
27. Oh, so that's the answer?
Yeah, you're just so used to solving for x.
I have 9.
You got it, okay. Everybody look at the board. Let's look at Rakila's paper. They started with 2. I know a lot of y'all started with 1. And they went 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 canceled out. And then they did minus 4 on the other side, which gave them 31. Y equals 31. Y'all agree? Okay. And then you did 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 cancels out. 35 minus 6 is 29. Very good. Y'all agree? Did anybody use any numbers besides 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 45. Okay, let's look at Mr. Seth. Okay, y'all gonna have to help me here to check him, okay? Y'all got you. Come on, let's see. Okay, let's look. Let's see if he's right. Let's check him. 2 times 45 is 90. He subtracted 90 on both sides. I think that's what you did there, huh? Okay, I couldn't hardly read your handwriting. So 90, 35 minus 90 is negative 55. Y'all agree? Okay, he did it right. Is that a solution? Okay, might be a little hard to graph on this piece of paper, but okay. So let's look. A lot of y'all used 1. So you had 1. You can plug in the 1 here. Plus y equals 35. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus y equals 35. Subtract 2 on both sides. And y equals 33. And then y'all use 2. 2 times 2 plus y equals 35, which is 4 plus y equals 35. Subtract 4 on both sides, and y equals 31. So y'all use 3. What was the solution for 3 based off of what I've done?
29.
What?
29.
29. And I want my friend over here, Rick 2A. She was like, she used 4. And what did you get for your solution for 4?
27.
She didn't know she had the solution. But she knew, she was just so used to solving for X last week.
Yes, I was.
So, that's what we've been doing, that's right. But it doesn't matter, a variable's a variable. We don't know what the variable is until we solve for it. And so 5 would be what? What would 5 be?
25.
25.
Then 23.
Okay, did anybody graph their solution? Did anybody, y'all want me to give y'all a minute to try to graph it on your
We
own?
only got 1.
Huh?
We doing 1.
What do you mean?
Oh, we
Yes, what quadrant are we using? We're just using 1.
1.
Except for Seth over here, because he had a negative, but what are we using?
1.
We're using quadrant 1. Are you going to be able to count by 1 to do it?
No.
No, you're going to have to use larger numbers, maybe like 5, 10, 15.
We on.
You can use that. You can use 10, 20, 30. Might make it a little harder to
How
graph.
much someone's going to get on
Well, I don't think you're going to have enough room to do 2s. You can do 2 on the x-axis. X's could be, feel like we define the Y. If somebody needs some help with the coordinate grid, raise your hand and I will come help you. Okay, this one. Okay.
Alright, got it.
I'll give you y'all with the fraction.
Oh, no.
Okay, if I can have, I'm glad that you're working on your graph, and if you want to work on it some more in just a second, that's fine. But what I want to do is to give you your exit ticket, and the main thing I'm gonna be checking on your exit ticket is the first part of the objective, is the table. I am concerned about the coordinate grid, but like I said earlier, tomorrow we're gonna be doing them with fractions, and we're gonna be concentrating more on the grid tomorrow. But as I walked around, a lot of you've already mastered the grid part too, okay? So y'all can do the table and the grid. Some of us are still a little weak on the grid, but I'll get with y'all tomorrow on that. I'm gonna give you an exit ticket. The main thing I want you to do is fill in the table, and then you're gonna graph. I don't want you looking on a partner. This is not partner work. I want you to do it on your own. Put your name on this because I will be taking this up at the end of the class period. I will be taking that up. If my collectors can go ahead and put the dry erase boards up and the markers in the bucket, I would appreciate it. The collectors, if you can go ahead and do that for me. The collectors are D this week. That would be Seth. He's the collector. If you finish your exit ticket early and you feel like you want to look at the one with the fraction, I have them ready. I can give them to you. Oh, I'm ready for y'all. No talking during the exit ticket. Did you fix your graph in the same? I want to look at that. You did 10, 20, okay, and you did here. Okay, look, you see how you have 0 here? Why do you have 0 there, baby? You start off with what? What is that going to be? That's going to be 10. Did you do yours right? Because I know y'all were partners. Let me look at yours. Okay, you hadn't put numbers on it yet. Okay, good. So I'll help you with that tomorrow. Go ahead and do your exit ticket. And if you get your table done on that, then we'll go back to your graph, okay? I want to mainly see the table today.
Do we have to use fractions?
No, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But you can use big numbers, but look at the difficulty you had graphing that. And realistically, you want to try to keep it simple on something like this, because when you're taking the late test at the end of the year, you don't want to. And you were making a lot of little common mistakes. Can I have your attention, please? I walked around and I think just about everyone in here understands the table. I know there's a little confusion on the grid. So tomorrow what I'll do, after I check your table today, as I look at them, tomorrow I will pass the exit tickets back out, and then we'll look at the grid, and we'll work on the grid from there, okay? But how many of y'all feel like you mastered the first part of the objective? Raise your hand. Okay, what was the first part of the objective? What was the first part of the objective that we mastered?
Filling out the this table.
Filling out the table. What kind of equations do we have there?
Linear.
With how many variables?
2.
2. Okay, if you don't mind at this time, to pass your exit tickets to the A person. The A person on the way out of the room, we'll put them in the basket and I will check them. And tomorrow we're gonna work on the coordinate grid some more. I want the exit ticket, baby. Okay? Enjoy teaching y'all today, okay? Pack up quietly.